What is up, my Gaggle of Geeks? It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for the Gaggle of Geeks show. Welcome. We are excited to have you all, and of course, I am joined as always by my co-host, Chaz. How's it going, man?
Dude, it's Friday.
It is Friday. How was your week?
Friday. It's been busy, man. It's just been busy. It's been chilling.
That sounded so like, fuck, it's going.
It's going. Well, I mean, there was some sad news before we started recording, so I'm just
there was. And we will be addressing that for a couple minutes before we get into the big stuff. But first, I want to announce our guests. First, you know him from the Movies That Make Us podcast. It is Tracy Mangum, returning guest. What's up?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
You were doing a really, really cool remote con. Tell me about that and how that was going.
So we did Utah Remote Con over Memorial Day weekend. We had, I think, something like 20 panels over the week. A lot of really cool guests and a lot of interesting topics. And we're going to be back in March doing it again because likely with the way that this state and country is going, we're still going to be in isolation.
And we got a really weird cryptic and sad realization about where the country could be going, and we'll again talk about that in a couple minutes. Fuck. All right, on to the next person. He is the creator of Next Best Picture, and he has been making the rounds in all of the film festivals. I believe he just finished the Toronto International Film Festival. Please welcome Matt Neglia. How's it going?
Hello, everyone. Very, very happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Really, really appreciate it, even though minutes before, just devastating news. But we're here, so we're going to make the most of it.
Let's address that first, because honestly, like it, just like when we were doing our episode a couple weeks after Chadwick Boseman, it was just like, it's impossible to not have to like address this. And frankly, with how we're somewhat political in some of our ramblings with this stuff, even though we try to stick to movies, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away just a few hours before starting this. And yeah, whatever political spectrum you're on, she was someone that reached across the aisle. She was really close to Justice Scalia, which have your opinions about him too. They were able to put their things aside and like talk about movies that they enjoy and weird shit like that. And I just want to bring that up to leave it to you guys. If anyone wants to speak about this, I'll leave it to you.
Well, she was a champion for human rights, for women's rights, always on the right side of history with everything it is that she did. She was a pioneer. She was a titan. They should be building new statues across the country to her. And it really could not have come at a worse time, unfortunately. I know that it was unfair for a lot of people in the country to kind of like put this pressure on her to get through this upcoming election that we have. Unfortunately, she hasn't, and you know, there are things that are going to be happening over the next couple of weeks, and I think that for now, like, because that's going to dominate so much of the conversation. For now, we can just look back on her great accomplishments and everything that she did for this country and really just celebrate what an incredible, incredible human being she was. A hero, honestly, to so many people, a true inspiration.
Absolutely. Did anybody see the film that came out just a couple of years ago? It was a documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, RBG.
Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be the recommendation for today. I know we're going to have recommendations for the year 2005, but for 2020 to look at the life and the legacy, I would recommend checking that out. I will be doing that as well. And yeah, rest in peace. You were an incredible person. Moving on to 2005. Gentlemen, this was an interesting year. There's some bangers and there are some really shitty films that came out. Matt, I didn't even tell you this. This is definitely a swear show. So if you're gonna swear, like we have every sound effect. We're not worried about monetization right now. We're only that, and your face is like my favorite part of telling people about this. It's just like, all right, here we go.
Gloves are off.
Gloves are off, but I need everybody's thinking caps on, which is our segue into our routine thing that we do with these decades. I have pulled a few sound clips from the trailers of 2005, and the goal is to guess what trailer it is. Chaz had a very interesting proposition for what the loser would have to do. I don't know if we're gonna do this, Chaz, but do you want to tell them what you have in store or what you'd like to do?
Okay, so there is a photo of me posing very artistically, if you will.
I'd say whorish. You could say whorish, right?
Yeah, I kind of look like a slutty, like paint me like a French girl kind of a pose, right? Where my whole lovely chest is just.
Okay, yeah.
You have to have it as your background on your phone for a whole.
No,
week.
I don't.
You see, and that was my thing. Like, how are you gonna enforce this without having the FBI called on you? to be like, no, you need to have this.
Well, I had the thought that, like, for those of you who are married, like, just having that there. And then
why is that qualifier supposed to make it any better?
Because like, I just imagine like them looking over at your phone and then seeing this glorious photo of me posing there, you know?
Oh yeah.
And they're just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. We don't have anything that's supposed to be like a hot thing. We've never even done that. So
Shut your f***ing mouth. I've had enough of you, you beast.
all right, we're gonna move into the trailers. So I have a list of them. We're gonna start with I think might be the easier ones and go from there. So the rules are nobody yell it out, even though towards the end of this, people should start screaming out the trailer names.
Okay.
And that's it, really. And let the clip go all the way to the end. So starting with...
And lo, the beast looked upon the face of Beauty, and Beauty stayed his hand. And from that day forward, he was as one dead.
All right, Matt already got it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's King Kong, the Peter
King
Jackson.
Kong. Very cool. So have you guys seen... everybody saw the Peter Jackson King Kong, correct?
Absolutely.
All 3 hours of it.
All... Yep. What do you think about the difference between that and Kong Skull Island? Do you think one is stronger than the other? One is a lot more tour-like, and the other one's a little bit more just to like excite, entertain with like crash, crash, bang, bang. But
I don't think the effects have held up well for King Kong. There's some scenes where it's hard to watch now because it's just the effects just didn't hold up well. I really liked Kong Skull Island quite a bit.
I think that's
I would put that ahead of the Peter Jackson one, and I love Peter Jackson, but it just didn't do it for me.
Was Adrian Brody in the...
Yes,
Peter Jackson. Yeah.
Okay, that's
I think was it Naomi Watts was the...
Naomi
Yes.
Watts, yep.
Yep.
And Andy Serkis playing Kong.
Kyle Chandler.
Wait, what?
See, that's the only thing that we could say. Well, Andy Serkis wasn't in Kong Skull Island, so
Was he Kong?
yeah,
Yes,
he was
he
Kong.
was.
Oh,
He was
shit.
also a cook on the ship as well.
Whoa!
yes.
Damn.
The more you know.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one, which again is gonna be a pretty easy one.
Aren't you so bad?
Oh, that's not the one. Whoops.
Over the years,
Did you glue this? I wish I had some scissors.
Andy Stitzer has lost a lot of girlfriends.
I'm sorry.
But there's one thing he never lost.
Anyone?
Yep.
Yeah. Chaz, you're kind of looking like you got it.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
I'm
you
gonna
can
guess. Hitch.
Because Matt looks so freaking confident already with it. It's like we'll start with guess before the answer comes.
Is it Hitch?
No, what? Matt?
It's the 40-year-old version.
Oh fuck,
Whoa.
dude! That's actually on one of my lists.
That
Dude,
is one of the
announcer
funniest
guy-
comedies out there, and it still holds up.
Movie trailer guy has the greatest voice.
Right?
Soon
That's the
to
thing I've
be,
loved about this.
Soon to
Have you-
be often misspelled with an upcoming Netflix film called The 40-Year-Old Version, not Virgin.
Mhm.
I can't wait for that.
Don't go in there thinking this is going to be about virginity, though. For a 40-year-old virgin, you'll be very disappointed. But the 40-year-old virgin, Steve Carell, this was right in between, I think, season 2 and season 3 of The Office. So he was really ramping up his career at this point. This was one of the higher points, and I think it's hilarious. Like, Judd Apatow does a great job. I think Seth
First
Rogen.
film, yeah.
Yep, it's yeah.
Judd Apatow's directorial debut, and I think he's actually one of the best comedy directors that we've ever
High
had.
five. Yes.
Yeah. And even though like I think sometimes his movies get a little self-indulgent with like their length and the storytelling, there are still so many unique qualities to his movies. Like that Asia dance, like not dance number, but like the moment when the heat of the moment like plays in the movie, or when they bust out in the song at the very, very end. There's like these very cinematic-esque moments that outside of comedy situations, like Apatow just like is able to put into his movies that have always made them, I think, like a notch above other standard mainstream comedies.
Mhm.
Yeah, I find them very relatable. That's what I like most about his movies. They're just like very relatable characters put in very mundane situations.
I'll tell you, a 40-year-old version is relatable in 10 more years.
Okay. All right. Don't know how to segue out of this. We're gonna find. Here's another one.
The name's Jackson.
Lisa, so what do you do?
As fate would have it, my business is all about you.
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
J.R. Joe Reisert. Your father?
Where did you get that?
Grabbed it off your dad's desk next to your graduation picture. You tell the flight attendant and your dad dies.
Oh, I know what it is now. Yep.
That last bit got it right. Tracy was
yep.
here first, though. Say it.
Red Eye.
Red Eye.
Fuck yeah.
On my
This
list.
was quite the year for this actor. No.
Yes, Cillian Murphy had a great year.
Mm-hmm. And Wes Craven bringing this movie in. It actually, I put it. I will talk about it later. It's on one of my lists.
Me
But
too.
I really enjoyed this movie, especially as a kid. Like, that sounds weird, but watching specifically the pen part, oh my god, it freaked me the hell out. But Cillian Murphy is one of the actors that, like, I just can't stop looking at him. Whatever scene he's in, he steals it, and you're just completely glued to him.
Is it okay on that subject? Is it blasphemy to admit I have not seen Peaky Blinders at all?
I've not either.
It's not a sin.
Yeah, the show. Thank you guys for coming.
It's a good movie. I mean, a good show rather, but I wouldn't say it's a sin necessarily that you haven't seen that.
Okay.
Is it one where you could pop in for one season and probably get the gist of everything?
I don't advocate that for any television show ever. So
Fine. Fine,
beginning,
man.
middle, and end. There is no middle and just middle. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Except for if you're like a Netflix original series and they just cut the legs off after season 2 or something. All right, moving on to
Sanjay Collins.
Chuck Thunderloo.
Seamus O'Toole.
Bobby O'Shea.
I'm ready to get drunk.
John and Jeremy are the masters.
You know how they say we only
love
use
the movie
10%
song.
of our brains? I think we only use 10% of our hearts.
I always knew my first time would be on a beach.
First time?
We're gonna be so happy together. I love you.
So
Sorry?
good.
I gotta get out of here pronto. I got a stage 5 clinger.
I think everybody knows this. Yep.
Wedding Crashers.
Wedding Crashers. Yeah.
It was either that or it was old school, but yeah, Wedding Crashers.
One of my favorite line deliveries of all time is Vince Vaughn's, you motorboating son of a bitch, you. She's still in the house? Cracks me up every time.
The other one I love is, you weren't the one that was artistically violated last night.
And Will Ferrell's cameo in it, that he's a funeral crasher. Oh my god.
What an idiot. What is she doing back there? I never know what she's doing back there.
So we're going from Wedding Crashers to a hard left.
Happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look like a monkey. And you smell like 1, 2.
I say.
Is that called Madagascar?
I like to move it. Yep. What do we think of
It's
Madagascar?
amazing how long those movies have been around, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually never seen Madagascar. I'll
What?
put that out there. Yep.
Why is that more blasphemous to me than Peaky Blinders?
Dude, probably because I was in that age group. They were probably trying to aim, the demographic for the movie, but I never saw it.
And you were just sitting there like, I'm an auteur in 5th grade.
No, I was.
This doesn't
no.
measure.
No, I just never saw it.
I think it was good. I think Sacha Baron Cohen stole the show. The penguins are amazing. Like, you really haven't seen this, Chaz?
No, seriously. I know there's a lot of spin-offs.
You have
off
no
of it.
reference with the penguins. You have no idea what they do.
No, the only thing I know from that movie is I like to move it. That's literally
That's
it.
crazy to me.
Yep.
All right. Well, okay. Let's move to the next one, which is...
In this European city, anything you desire can be yours for a price.
Is that Ratatouille?
No. Different year.
You're... I love the wrong guesses. It makes it even better.
I'm
so
just
happy.
European city. Anything can be yours for a price.
I'm so glad I've gotten a pause from all of you finally. Like,
is it all right? Just tell me this: is it like a good movie, or is it like a bad movie that like audiences like, or
is it Hostel?
No.
I'm gonna play one more time.
No
When
way.
in Rome?
In this European city, anything you desire can be yours for a price.
Honeymooners.
All right. Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo.
Oh fuck, dude.
Okay, it was a bad movie. All right.
I didn't know how to guess that. So I was like, play it again.
Jay actually guessed it on the live chat.
Did he? Oh my God. Good job, Jay. All right, let's move to maybe a little bit of scary. Who knows?
I've never seen Deuce Bigelow, so.
What? I want to talk about both your guesses. Hostel, first of all.
That was awesome. That was a pretty awesome.
That's great, yeah.
Because Hostel would have like
Tell me it's not
deceiving
correct.
trailer before it takes a turn and gets like completely dark and messed up. You know?
Right? Oh my God. And Chaz, what was yours again?
The Honeymooners, and it was also Ratatouille. Like,
You started with Ratatouille, and
I
that's
did,
what I
I
want
did.
to address. Holy shit.
well, it said European. I'm like, oh, French, and like the guy singing in the background. I'm like, that sounds like a French thing in a restaurant.
I might be wrong about this because we haven't looked at all of the Pixar trailers yet, but we've covered a lot. And I don't think Mr. Movie Phone had been in any of them.
Okay.
I don't think Pixar used him at all. All right. Moving to...
Isn't it unusual to have 6 members of a family on 2 separate floors shot and nobody moved from their beds?
Police have charged 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr.
Yep,
accused
got
of
it.
he heard voices coming from within the house, telling him to murder his family.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Go for it.
Capote.
Nope.
No.
Amityville Horror.
Amityville Horror.
Oh wait a minute. Why was I thinking of?
Whoa!
Oh my God! You know what? I totally forgot that you mentioned horror beforehand. Oh, that's too funny.
But I
That
think
is
the
way too
murder
funny.
in the house and stuff was horror too.
No, but like, if you know the movie Capote,
Tell me
And you know-
about that movie. When you said it, I had no idea what you meant.
he's writing a book, the book In Cold Blood, and it's about these guys that committed this murder in this house. And
Oh,
yeah, exactly. That's why I was like,
Okay.
oh, it's Capote, and then I was
get
like,
that.
oh,
That's
wait a
fair.
minute.
That's fair. That's
But
fair.
then when I totally forgot you mentioned the horror genre thing, and I'm like, all right, that doesn't make sense. I just made myself look like an idiot.
Well, here's the thing. I saw you move when the name of the person was there, so I was like, oh, he remembers the news article or
Oh,
something. He
and here's
remembers
the
what
really
happened when it
crappy part. I was born and bred on Long Island, so I should have known.
came out. Hold on.
Dude, that's worse than my French Ratatouille thought.
Not out of the woods yet, Chaz.
But I said it so confidently too.
No, but it's okay. That's the point of these. It's to jog memories of films that you were like, why do we have to think about these again? Because we don't want to be in 2020 anymore. Here's another one.
It is wax. Literally.
You're not gonna go in there, are you?
I know.
Yeah.
House of Wax.
Yeah, pretty easy. Some of these, I don't have it really in an order, so some of this is like 2 seconds of them be like, "We are Suicide Squad." Oh, which one is this?
Dude, House of Wax has one scene that stuck to me, and it's where the Achilles gets cut by like underneath the car. That scene's always stuck to me, and I was probably too young to watch it, but that was on TV at one time when I was in fifth
Was
grade.
it Paris Hilton in that one?
That's the only thing I remember from it is Paris Hilton was in it, and she wasn't that awful. Like I was expecting a lot of "that's hot" when she was walking through the museum and stuff, but they didn't really lean into that, so that was good.
Or like like when they're peeling the skin off, like the wax, but it's actually their skin. That's terrifying. I think it's a good movie. Yeah.
So now we're gonna move into, I'll give a hint, the remakes part of this, which will be.
Welcome to Allenville, superstar. You're gonna put together a team of inmates to play against my guards.
Oh, I got that one.
I just want to do my time. Your time here will be a whole lot easier if you just participate.
Some Jet Li shit.
That's gonna cost you.
Looking forward to it.
I want to give Matthew a chance to redeem himself.
Thank you. It's The Longest Yard.
Yes, got it. I don't think that was the worst movie. Terry Crews, is that like one of his first films that he did?
Terry Crews?
Yeah, wasn't he in it?
I think so.
He did White Chicks first, back in like 2004.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember we did that last episode. Okay, let's see here.
Have you ever seen a single person going into that factory?
There must be people working there.
The only thing that comes out of that place is the candy. I'd give anything in the world just to go in that amazing factory.
This movie fucking sucked. Do you guys know what it was? What was it?
Yeah, it's like the horror version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
The nightmarish hellscape that was just like, even as a kid, I was like, that's fucked up. I don't think we should watch this. Yeah, like this doesn't even feel like it's for me, and I'm genuinely uncomfortable.
Welcome to Tim Burton.
Right. It was one of the, I don't know, maybe it was when we were like a little bit apprehensive with, or the start of being like side-eyeing Johnny Depp with the role he was taking.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens from this point. Okay, I guess this is kind of, well, yeah.
Your entire biophysical structure is changing. That's terrible news. I think I'll get a second opinion.
You don't want to walk around on fire for the rest of your life, do you?
Oh, I got it.
Come on, am I the only guy who thinks this is cool? What if we got these powers for a reason?
Yep. It's Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Not Josh Trank's version.
No, the Tim Story version, correct. You know, not necessarily a horrible film. It's not the worst.
Awful,
You do realize we've had a lot of good ones since then, right?
We have.
It just pales in comparison.
It just pales in comparison. Like it's kind of like how I feel with it. I would put it the same as Batman Forever, where it's like you did a film, and as a kid, I was in it. You know, I was in for it. But yeah, later on when you watch it, it of course knocks down a little. But maybe
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
All right, next one. This one will be pretty easy.
Harry was a small-time crook.
Oh boy.
Till he opened the door
Oh, no, we're not ready for your audition.
Just take him. He's ready. You ready, right?
to a really big break.
Quit acting like the good guy. You got your partner killed. You killed him.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Old school method. Get me Gay Perry on the phone.
But he'll need a real cop
Detective lessons tomorrow for your acting.
Oh, you're the consultant.
if he wants to act the part.
You must.
I have no idea. I'm not even going to guess on this.
Barry, that is a funny comparison when you hear what this is. It's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Never seen it.
I have never watched the trailer for that, and now that you said it, it makes sense. But I couldn't
But that Barry comparison is really fun. That would be a great like double feature thing to be like, I'm gonna watch a couple episodes of Barry and then go watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Let's see, and we got someone that had a renaissance in their career, I suppose.
For explorer Dirk Pitt and his team. This is the place. The ship should be here.
I have to warn you, it is very dangerous for foreigners.
It was a ghost ship, a cursed ship. The mystery that's buried with a long-forgotten legend carries a threat. This thing could kill millions. No one could have imagined.
My God.
This one's a fly under the radar film, I would say. Like you don't think about it until you have to look through Wikipedia to see the films from the year.
Triple X.
No, but that's not too bad. This was from, I will say, the actor I was speaking about was Matthew McConaughey, if you can guess from there.
Inspector Gadget. Just
kidding. This was definitely not the resurgence time for Matthew McConaughey. This was like the downward spiral time for Matthew McConaughey.
I think this was the last one he did before he was like, I gotta make stuff all right.
Dear God. I don't
Yeah,
know.
nothing.
I honestly wasn't paying attention to Matthew McConaughey during this time of my life.
It was Sahara.
Yeah, no.
I don't even
No?
remember
Saw
that
it.
one.
That might have been on me. Some of these I'm like, maybe they'll see. All right, we got one more, and then we're gonna move into the shit.
No sliding on the banisters. No touching of the historical artifacts. And above all, there shall be no disturbing of the professor.
98, 99, 100. Ready or not? Here
Yes,
I
yes.
come.
Yes.
Okay.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Chronicles of Narnia. Yeah, that is what it is.
It's actually the where he's like ready or not, and he opens up the door, right? Like the wardrobe. That's what gave that away. Yeah.
Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. Sweet. Well, that does it for that part of the show. Now it's time to kind of break down what.
Wait. Who
What?
won? Who lost?
Well,
Who
clearly weren't
lost
going
their-
to be doing that.
Let's put their picture on their phone.
We clearly would like these people to come back to the show, Chaz. So we're not going to be forcing them to do the.
Fair.
We all could use a tit pick once in a while, but maybe not with high stakes like this, you know?
Okay, well, I have my OnlyFans, so.
Okay. All right. So let's move in to best, worst, and underrated or recommended for 2005. I want to kick this off with Tracy. Go ahead and list off all of what you got, and we'll kind of talk with you about the films that you picked.
All right, so I was already a fan of Christopher Nolan. Batman Begins.
Damn, starting out good.
I am a big fan of Nolan. I love what he did with the first two of the Batman films. Was not a huge fan of Dark Knight Rises, but that's okay. I've also got Walk the Line, which I think is very well done. And Sin City. Those were my three.
Nice. And what do you
Sin
have?
City, just because visually it was so distinctive and so unique.
Mm-hmm. Who directed that? Was that Frank Miller that also directed it?
No.
It was Robert Rodriguez and
okay.
Frank Miller.
Gotcha.
I think Frank Miller directed a segment with Robert Rodriguez, but it was mostly Rodriguez, and Tarantino had like one scene that he directed.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you have for your least favorite, Tracy?
Least favorite, I hated what this movie was and what it brought to cinema because it started the whole torture porn. Hostel, that's on my list. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, hated that adaptation. I love the original. I'm a big fan of the Gene Wilder film. Hated the original. And Son of the Mask, that was a terrible movie.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Bringing back all sorts of bad
I
memories.
forgot all about that until you just brought it up. Holy shit. Wow.
We need to have throw up sound effects. I can't just do that.
Especially because the first one was very, very clever, very well done. But oh yeah, Son of the Mask was awful.
Hostel kind of came out from Saw, right? Like Saw happened, and then someone's like, hold my Saw. I'm going to show you something even more fucked up.
Right. Eli Roth took it, started the whole torture porn. We got so many of these types of movies where it's just gratuitous horror, and that's just not my thing. Like, I'm not saying it shouldn't be made. I'm not saying that there's not an audience for it, but it's just not my thing at all.
No, that's fair. Well, what do you have for your underrated? What would you recommend people check out?
So my underrated, Zathura, kind of a pseudo sequel to Jumanji. Much better film. It's based on a book by the same author as Jumanji. Jon Favreau is the director. A young Kristen Stewart is in it, or Kristen Stewart, excuse me. Great little family film and great effects on a very limited budget. So that one I would definitely recommend. Thank You for Smoking. Aaron Eckhart's, along with, was it Bateman that directed?
No, it was Jason Reitman.
Reitman, thank you, yes. That was was it his debut or his second film?
His debut.
Okay. So that one, and then I've got Red Eye and Munich. I think we forget when we talk about a lot of Spielberg films, we forget about Munich, and that was a very, very good one.
That's a good pick. Those are all great picks. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, sir.
Let's move to Matthew. What do you have for us?
All right, so I'm doing what, a worst and a best, or a worst, best, underrated?
Best, worst, and underrated.
Okay. So do I have to have a specific number, or?
It could just be like, yeah, whatever.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Chaz usually has about 7 or 8 for each one. So it kind of just goes with it.
All right. So some worst movies I can name off the top of my head. Stealth. If you guys ever seen that, it's like the fighter jet.
Oh, yeah, with Jamie Foxx.
Yep. Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. XXX2, State of the Union. Awful. And the first XXX was, awesome for its time, but like it's not a great movie either. So
hasn't aged well.
It like you would think
it was sick.
It's like you would think it could go up because that's the only like potential it had left, but no, it went down even more. Eon Flux with Charlize Theron is it's like that's like one of the worst movies like I've ever seen in my entire life. It's pretty awful. And because I don't want to be so dour, I'm gonna just move over to some great ones. I'm gonna name a couple, so just bear with me. V for Vendetta has aged so well since its release, and I think that is a fantastic movie.
It is. I like it.
Love it. Cinderella Man by Ron Howard. With Russell Crowe, one of Russell Crowe's back in the time when he was actually good and doing excellent work.
And wasn't trying to sell all of his merch from Cinderella Man. Buy my boxers!
George Clooney's Good Night and Good Luck, which still remains the best movie that he's ever made. That's really good. My favorite director's cut of all time, Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven. The original theatrical release of Kingdom of Heaven is awful, but if you watch the director's cut, it is leaps and bounds better than the original, that it actually became like one of my favorite movies that year.
Why does Ridley Scott have an issue with his cuts, and why does he consistently need a director's cut to improve his film, like with Blade Runner having so many cuts?
I actually think, honestly, that the Blade Runner thing just became like kind of blown up by its cult following, the internet, and it's like something that now people put on to Ridley Scott for all of his movies. Like, oh, if he has to have a director's cut, it's going to be like Blade Runner, and it's going to have this following, and it's going to like be better than the original, and so on and so forth. That's not necessarily always true, but in the case of Kingdom of Heaven, it was. You mentioned Munich before, Tracy. I freaking love Munich. I think it's definitely one of Spielberg's best. Batman Begins, like you said, I actually found myself just rewatching Batman Begins the other day. I was just watching a scene from it, and it just it's so smooth and it plays so well. Brokeback Mountain goes without saying. It was a huge film that year when it came out. It was really super important in bringing LGBTQ stories to mainstream audiences. And so it will forever have a place in cultural history for that reason alone. Sin City is like one of my favorite style over substance movies I've ever seen. And my number one favorite film of that year, hands down, is David Cronenberg's A History of Violence.
Ooh, Viggo Mortensen.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be one of the trailer options, but I honestly did not think that people would get it.
And then an underrated movie from that year. I'll name three. There is Joe Wright's Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley, which I think is very underrated, and everybody should definitely check that one out if you just want a really good, well-made period drama. The Proposition. Has anyone here seen The Proposition with Guy Pearce, Ray Winstone?
Mm-mm.
Oh, this is like an Australian Western. It's awesome. I mean, it's really, really, really badass, and like a movie that I wasn't expecting much from when I popped it in, but I had such a good time with it, and I wholly recommend it now to people. And last one, I'm a huge Michael Haneke fan. I have to mention Cachet, or otherwise known as Hidden, and that is a very, very, if you guys know Michael Haneke's work, it's a messed up film, but it's really, really, really artfully well done.
Now, messed up like maybe like a Mandy type, or
no, more like a European art house, and then all of a sudden, slow, like it's building to something, then out of nowhere, shocking violence, holy fuck, and then your mind just explodes. You know what I mean?
So kind of like Drive a little.
Like in a way, but a little less neon lights.
Okay. Nice. Sweet. Did you have any others?
No, I'll leave it at that for now. I don't want to hog up too much of the airtime here.
All right, Chaz, that's your cue. I will give mine. I'll let you go first on this one, because last time I insisted.
Yeah, because I stole a lot of your stuff.
He did, but like I'm pretty sure everyone's stolen mine at this point, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's because this year is mediocre at best, right?
Mediocre. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you my top 3 favorite films. Top 3 least, top 3 underrated. I'll do least first, just get out of the way. White Noise is fucking awful. It's a horror movie. It was,
Michael Keaton?
No. Yes? No.
Pretty sure that was Michael Keaton in that.
Yes.
He's trying to find his wife, and she's talking through the TV static, which is not a thing anymore. So this goes into the category of movies that just don't make sense now.
Yeah. It's fucking awful.
So it just said no signal, and you thought you were getting connection with... Okay, whatever.
Electra with Jennifer Garner.
That was gonna be the one I wanted.
Oh my god. I thought that was god awful. What? You gonna dispute that?
That stupid ass Ben Affleck shows up for like 1 sec.
And then, I'll just say Doom. I think Doom was fucking awful too.
Ooh, yeah.
So, then underrated. No, I'll do best. My favorite, Star Wars Episode 3. I was in that demographic, and I thought it was badass. And
someone had to do it.
To this day, it's actually one of my favorite Star Wars films to revisit, and I think there's a lot of cool stuff going for it. And it's like George Lucas learned what not to do from Episode 1 and Episode 2. So it's a win-win. Kingdom of Heaven, Ridley Scott, of course. Constantine with Keanu Reeves. I thought that was it's a fun film with Shia LaBeouf and stuff, As far as underrated goes, The 40-Year-Old Virgin is on my list. I think that's a funny film, and I'm surprised I didn't get the trailer, but whatever. Corpse Bride, I think that's one Burton's.
I actually prefer that to Nightmare Before Christmas. Is that weird?
No, it's not weird.
Kind of like Corpse Bride better.
I like Corpse Bride. And then Saw 2. I think that movie, Saw 2 and Hostel. I know Tracy doesn't like Hostel, but I think those two movies.
That's fine.
It is torture porn, quote unquote, but it's kind of fun.
Saw was at least a little creative, though.
Yeah,
the Saw films were at least a little creative. Hostel was just. Yeah.
That's the thing with Eli
Hostel
Roth.
Part 2.
He brings his premise in, and he's like, now you want to see some shit that you probably could only see on the dark web, but I'm going to show you now?
That's how, dude, Eli Roth created the dark web before the dark web existed.
Oh, God.
And that's I mean, that's all I got for you. I mean, oh, the producers. I'll put the producers on
Fuck you! That was
underrated
the
or
last one I
best.
had that was goddamn authentic to me. Fine. It's fine.
But here, I didn't say which
You let
category it
him go
was in. I'm
first.
just saying it's either underrated or it's in like one of the better films. There.
All right.
Either
Fair
one.
enough.
That good.
That's cool. That's cool. I know I didn't share my Google Doc with you for this.
No, you did
Otherwise,
not.
but yeah, fuck.
Oh,
All right.
Batman Begins. I forgot that too. But yes. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay. So I will start with best. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I don't think it's on any of your guys' lists. I put as one of my tops. Just watching that
That's a good
later
one.
in life, it just is. It is really good, and I didn't realize it came out this year, so I had to put that up.
Was that Shane Black?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, Shane Black film. Walk the Line was incredible. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job with that performance, and Reese Witherspoon. I still listen to the soundtrack every once in a while. Like they really did a good job invoking those.
And I think those were actual voices too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was actually them. The practice. He probably learned guitar and probably took all the drugs at the same time too. He did all of that. Went very method. Was dancing in a bathroom before he came out. All kinds of stuff. Then I put Batman Begins because with me, I'll always have to put Batman. And Christopher Nolan was, I don't know. I remember being told as a kid before this was coming out, they're like, this is going to be a hard R-rated Batman. There's going to be death everywhere. And he's going to like get murdered halfway through it. And it's like, what are you talking about? Then when this came out, I could tell them, no, that's not at all what that was going to be. And Cillian Murphy was incredible as Scarecrow. Underrated Batman villain. He did really
one of my
good in that.
favorite line readings in any movie ever. His whole "the Batman," incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He acts like that in like all the movies too. Like in all the Batman movies, I think he does a good job at keeping that persona.
Mm-hmm.
Or the scene in the interrogation room with Falcone where he's like, "Would you like to see my mask?" And then he just pops it. He's like, I've been dying to show you this shit for like an hour now. You will not shut up.
And also, too, I adore the scene with Tom Wilkinson and Christian Bale where he sits down with him at the diner and he's like, "You're taller than you look in the tabloids, Mr. Wayne. No gun. I'm insulted." Like, the way that he delivers those lines.
Yeah,
it always gets me.
And what about that creepy,
you have to
pervy
go
judge?
500 miles before somebody doesn't know your name.
I wouldn't have a second's hesitation to blowing your brains out right here.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
money you can't buy. Power you can't buy. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Worst. Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo. Fuck that movie.
Yeah,
And
why
fuck
didn't you put it in the trailers, dude?
Why
Fuck
they
you.
even start with that? Why they even start with Deuce Bigelow, period? That shouldn't have existed.
Because Rob Schneider was on a kick of making shitty movies. I don't know.
He really was. Like, we've covered the hot chick, we've covered the animal, we've covered everything that he's done is similar in some way, and it's not in like quality being great.
Yeah, where's his career right now?
I think he did a stand-up and is I don't know. He kind of seems like the Rand Paul of actors. I don't know if that's a nice
I
thing
think
to
he's
say.
on Cameo.
Where it's just like he's just off in his own thing. He's like, yeah, you do whatever the fuck.
Cameos.
Yeah, I think he's doing Cameo and coffee shops.
We need to bring in Cameo. Maybe that should be a thing. A cameo for the people that were in the year that it came out. That might work. That might work. I've missed that show. And then recommended, I only have two. The Producers, I enjoyed it. Uma Thurman was great. Matthew Broderick is really great in the film. I love the music in it. And Red Eye, Wes Craven and Cillian Murphy. It was a good horror flick and it was really suspenseful. I loved the setting of putting it in a plane where you can't really escape. And he's just right there, right next to you. And you know that the seats have only gotten closer together. So it's just going to be worse if they did it now. Like that would still hold up pretty well. And that is
I'm a big fan of Rachel McAdams.
Mm-hmm.
Did nobody mention The Devil's Rejects or War of the Worlds, huh?
No.
Oh, War of the Worlds.
Put those on there. Yeah, put those on there.
Oh yeah, Bewitched was in it. This is the time where we actually just go through Wikipedia and yell out the titles of stuff we missed.
Exorcism of Emily Rose, Scott Derrickson's film. Pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, we never talked about The Pacifier with Vin Diesel. What is wrong with us?
Shitty, dude.
We're sitting here talking about our best, and nobody mentioned the past. I'm just kidding. Be Cool came out. F. Gary Gray with John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Vince Vaughn.
The Weatherman.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter. Nobody mentioned Harry Potter.
Which was in the past right now.
Oh, what else? Diary of the Mad Black Woman came out.
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain. Hitch. You know, I'll put Hitch in a category. I don't know which one, but it should be in something. Mulan 2, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the directed video. Yeah.
Yep.
At least it didn't have controversy.
Wow. All right. Through that. Coach Carter came out in January of that year. Are We There Yet came out. Oh, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. What am I thinking? That actually, we have Cedric Diggory. Robert Pattinson's first.
No.
Was it his? No.
No.
I thought that was his film debut.
Oh yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
It's
and
okay.
it was also,
he's used to telling me I'm wrong, and then I tell him to look it up.
I was looking at the wrong Wikipedia. No, it's his first film debut. It's also Chloe is it Mortz in the Amityville Horror? That's her first debut.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Dom Hall Gleason, you know, The Last Jedi, Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
His was Boy Eats Girl. That's his first debut.
Tarzan 2.
Edison.
There's 2
Tarzan
Disneys.
2.
Mm-hmm. Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, they did that one.
Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which is making a comeback for some fucking
That
reason.
should be in the worst. That's in the worst films for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he made it for his kids. So, I mean,
that's no excuse, Tracy. You don't forgive that. Make it somewhere else. Don't use our money.
Keep it in your home theater.
Yeah.
I have to mention Junebug. Has anyone here ever seen Junebug?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's like a great independent movie. It was like Amy Adams' breakthrough role. If you guys have not seen it, it was like her first Oscar nomination she ever got.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's really that's a good one for sure. I would definitely put that in the underrated column.
Nice.
I might get shit for this one for the underrated because it's kind of it's called The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville. Where he joins the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one.
That was the one that I really didn't like laughing at, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's scenes in there where I'm just like, there's no way that could be made today.
But
what
funny
about
enough, Curb Your Enthusiasm put all of those actors in an episode.
From The Ringer?
From The Ringer, yeah.
Oh, which episode?
I don't know. It was somewhere in season 5 or 6.
You know what? We didn't mention Serenity.
Oh,
it's not worth mentioning. Just kidding.
A lot of these aren't worth mentioning that we've already mentioned, so we can't play
Someone
that
mentioned
card.
Sam Mendes' first war film he did before 1917, Jarhead, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh shit!
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yep. Sky High. I'll put that as underrated. Sky High was actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
The Constant Gardener.
Yep.
Bad
Dukes
News
of Hazzard
Bears.
is in the worst.
Yes, that's definitely a bad one.
What else? Wallace and Gromit.
Crash.
Wallace and Gromit was good.
Legend of
Oh,
Zorro.
yeah.
Chicken Little.
Crash can go in the worst column.
Crash should be in the worst column. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if any of you guys saw Hostage with Bruce Willis.
I did see that. I saw that in
Yes.
theaters.
I think it's a decent film. I don't think it's like the worst Bruce Willis film.
Well, that's
There's
like
so
saying
many.
like I don't like it's this piece of garbage or this piece of garbage, but they're both still garbage, except if it's Die Hard or When He Was Drunk.
One of my favorite Noah Baumbach movies, The Squid and the Whale.
I love
That's
that
a good
movie.
Mm.
That's a good movie.
Oh, Rent. I loved Rent.
Oh, I don't like Rent.
What? Man,
I like
I listened to
Rent.
that. I listened to that music too much times to say I didn't love the shit out of that movie.
I liked Rent when I was in high school.
That's
and-
what I was in.
And then I saw the movie and I was like, well, this isn't good. But I think if I had seen the show, I would like it more probably. But Rent was like honestly, like that was, to me, like that was just like a phase thing in high school where like everybody loved it. Everybody was singing the songs. And then when the movie came out, it was like kind of underwhelming.
I liked Rosario Dawson in it.
I'm offended none of you guys mentioned the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants.
Oh shit! What are we doing?
That's right. That is right.
Or Fun with Dick and Jane. What are we doing? Memoirs of a Geisha.
Never saw it.
That's one of those ones where it's got great aesthetics and it looks amazing, but something about that movie still to this day didn't fully land for me. And I don't know why. I feel like I need to rewatch that at some point.
Fair enough. Oh, Lilo and Stitch 2 came out. This is when Disney was like, we're going to try to make money, but we're going to make the quick bucks instead of, we're going to make huge bucks, but still do the same basic thing.
I know we mentioned 40-year-old version before. We need to mention that again because that movie is great.
Mm-hmm.
What about documentaries from this year?
I don't know of any.
So there's Grizzly Man, which was the Werner Herzog documentary about.
That's right. Yep.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but he was like the guy that like hung out with bears in the wild. Timothy something. I can't remember his full name. But that was like a really heartbreaking one. That was really good. There was the Enron documentary, The Smartest Guys in the Room.
Yes.
I saw that one. Yep.
And then there was Murder Ball, which was I think that was a big hit that year. Murder Ball.
Very good.
Yeah, we didn't mention in worst Miss Congeniality 2.
Ooh.
And I love Miss Congeniality 1.
Yeah.
The first one was great.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandra Bullock, man, that she's kind of lucky that didn't sink her career.
What
The
about,
Ring 2 happened as well.
I don't think anyone mentioned this one yet. What about Tom Cruise teaming with Steven Spielberg for War of the Worlds?
Ooh.
I liked that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the most terrifying movies that Steven Spielberg's like ever made. Like some of the post 9/11 imagery in that movie is like chilling to watch. And there's like some really, really well constructed set pieces in that movie.
Yeah.
I just think I think the script dramatically, like it doesn't work. There's actually, oh my God, I can't remember now there's a great video on YouTube dissecting why War of the Worlds doesn't work. And I'm trying to remember now who made it. If it comes to me, I'll let you guys know. But it's a really, really great breakdown of why the movie did not land the way that it should have with like critics and general audiences. But yet we remember the sequences though. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that sequence in the basement, phenomenal.
The New World, Terrence Malick. I don't know if you guys are into Terrence Malick, but I know I certainly love Terrence Malick stuff.
So I've only seen one of his films, and it was the one with Brad Pitt in 2011. It was a trip.
Oh, The Tree of Life, yeah.
Yeah, that was a trip.
Yeah.
Was it The Theorizer, Matt?
Was it a what?
The Theorizer?
I don't think so. I'll figure it
or
out.
Kurtz's God in a nutshell.
You're trying. We're still talking about that War of the Worlds video.
Yeah. I was trying to find it. That's why I got quiet. It's like, hurry, Google it, maybe.
I can find it for you.
Fever Pitch.
Fever Pitch is good.
I like that one. They were able to do something pretty crazy with filming during that World Series game for that particular moment with them winning. Like, if you were the camera guy or whoever was setting up that, to see that actually happen and just be like, all right, we're actually capturing history too. I bet that was pretty cool.
So Son of the Mask is pretty fucking awful.
Yeah.
Be Cool is actually I liked Be Cool.
That one wasn't bad.
Ice Princess is pretty bad, even though I had my childhood crush in it. But
who's that?
It was the actress. I don't remember her name, but I thought I had a huge crush on her, like in elementary.
I remember the YouTube video. It was Lindsay Ellis. She did a comparison between Independence Day and War of the Worlds and why one alien invasion movie, even though it's like campy and hokey, works, and the other one, it takes itself so seriously, why it doesn't work. It's a really, really good video that like compares the two.
Was she saying that War of the Worlds takes itself too seriously?
No. Well, like not that it takes itself too seriously, but it presents itself seriously. But for some reason, we don't take it seriously. Whereas Independence Day does not take itself super seriously, but we all love Independence Day.
Because I recently revisited War of the Worlds. I think it's on HBO, but I got emotional during one scene.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen Independence Day since like 2001 probably, like when it was on TV. So I I have to catch up on that eventually.
I've got one we haven't talked about yet. Brokeback Mountain.
We talked about that. We mentioned it.
Did we?
Yes.
I mentioned it, but it's all right.
Oh. Well, I see Capote now with Best Actor with Philip Seymour Hoffman was nominated for that.
He won.
Oh, he won? I thought
he won. He won the Oscar that year for that. Mhm.
So fun story about that movie. Before the show, I was on the phone with my dad, and he mentioned that movie because I brought up Philip Seymour Hoffman. I'm like, I don't know what that is, dude. And he's like, it has Philip Seymour Hoffman though. Like, I don't know that movie. So it's funny you bring it up because I guess it's actually a movie that's worth watching.
It's definitely really good. His performance is incredible. If you guys know Philip Seymour Hoffman,
oh yeah,
and, you know, it's a transformative role where he like you will not believe that it's the same actor. You just won't believe it.
Nice. I think we've scraped through 2005 with a fine-tooth comb and have gotten all of the shit, all of the hits, and all of the DMs. I don't know what that means. But I think that about closes the show. I want to thank my guests so much for coming on and talking pictures with me. Matt, I think you have elevated our movie talk to a higher level. Otherwise, it would have been mainly an hour about Batman. But really, thank you for coming on.
He was bringing in independent Australian films. So,
I know.
yes.
I felt like I just needed to leave. I was like, oh shit. I've got it. I don't even have a take to. I just smile. But Next Best Picture. I was going to ask, how have the festivals been, and where can the people find you? Where can they find Next Best Picture?
The festivals have been unique. Obviously, they're all virtual. It's still kind of the same because you're cramming everything in with very, very little sleep. You forget to eat, and you're writing constantly. In my case, I'm also editing everybody else's writing that gets sent in. We're still running the podcast and everything else that we do. So like the train just doesn't stop moving on top of my day job, of course. And it's just like, but I always say to myself, it's a small period of time out of the year, and then once that's over, then we move into a whole other phase, which is then the regional festivals. So then once the big players are out of the way, like New York, TIFF, Telluride, Venice, then it goes to regional, and then members on my team and everybody else then starts to see the movies that you've been excited about for the last couple of weeks. And then next thing you know, we get around to Thanksgiving, and it's time for Critics Awards, and boom, like award season just keeps on going. And this year is obviously different because there's been 2 months that have been added to the calendar year, essentially, with January and February now counting for eligibility for this year's Oscars. So even though it's 2021, a movie could release in January, February, and still contend for the movies that did come out in 2020. It's gonna mindfuck everybody probably until the end of time that a 2021 release movie could count for 2020. And, I'm sure it's gonna be very, very confusing when we write articles and we try to figure out what do we refer to this movie as in terms of like, when
quarantine edition.
Yeah, like when we put in parentheses next to it, like the year it came out, like what are we gonna say?
This fucking year.
I think that all you have to say is 2020, and everybody goes, "Oh,
yeah, exactly." Oh yeah, that year. Fuck that year.
Say no more.
But yeah, this has been a very unique year all around. In the last couple of days alone, I think I've seen like another new like 27 new movies just in the last in the last week or so, which is it's a good number. I'm happy with it.
A good number. Jesus Christ, it's a great, I seriously don't know how you're doing it.
Well, like when I go to Sundance, for example, that's when I go like crazy and I watch like 5 or 6 a day. So that's why I say, oh, it's a good number, Mm-hmm. But yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I love movies. I love storytelling. I love the empathy that it teaches us. I love looking at the world from different perspectives and, really trying to understand different cultures and everything else. So, for me, I just love consuming as much as I possibly can. And film festivals are a great way to do that. You get a lot of surprises, a lot of smaller movies that you're like, I have no idea what this is, but it's got an interesting plot synopsis. I don't know any of the stars. I don't know who the director is. But then you hit play and you're like, whoa, you're like blown away by it sometimes. And it could be like that new discovery. So over at Next Best Picture, I should talk about what we do. We basically focus on award season all year long. So even though award season is a season, for us, we're always constantly thinking, even when it is the off season, how will this factor into the Oscar race later on? Or can this have like, you know, some sort of Oscar potential that, you know, maybe we don't think about it right now, but maybe it could come back somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you think about movies that get released in the first half of the year, and sometimes we just write it off completely. But yeah, that's pretty much what we do over there. We do film reviews. We have a podcast that's very popular that I run, that we do film reviews on. We have a weekly talk show. We do interviews with filmmakers that work on the movies as well. We cover television. On top of that, the Emmys are this Sunday. We also have a theater podcast where we talk about Broadway, especially when it comes around to the Tonys. So we're just all about stories, and we're all about looking for what is going to be the next Best Picture Oscar winner.
That is a great plug, man. Thank you so much again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. And Trace, with Movies That Make Us, what are you up to, and how do you feel just finishing a huge con where I think you were in almost every panel every day?
No, it was a huge setup. Jake Dietz, who's part of our team, the Stolen Droids family, it's kind of our mothership. Colin helped set that up along with Stephanie. It was a great event. We raised over $3,000, or just about $3,000 for the American Cancer Society, which is very near and dear to my heart. So that was fantastic. Movies That Make Us, we try and keep very positive. We talk about films that we love and why we love them. It's kind of like a book club, but for movies. Like, hopefully people will come in and have seen the movie before and can listen along and talk with us. We always have a live chat that people can jump in, and we'll talk about their comments and stuff like that. Occasionally we'll find a film that we don't really like, but we try and keep it more about the love of movies. And next week we're going to be talking School of Rock.
Ooh, that is a good crowd pleaser film.
I adore School of Rock.
Jack
So
Black,
good.
man. Yeah.
Thank you
Sick to the
again.
man.
Thank you so much, man. And Chaz,
Yeah, thanks
of
for having
course, where can the people find you?
You can find my podcast over and under Artists Exposed, where I talk with artists about the highs and lows of pursuing passion as an art, you know, or art as a passion.
What was this episode that came out?
I talked with Johnny, and he is a DJ who goes by the name of Galaxy, and I learned a lot. He told me exactly how they do remixes and what the industry looks like the music industry, because live events are not going to be the same anymore, and it was such a multi-million-dollar industry. It is now going to have to kind of change, and they have to kind of bounce back, and it's going to be interesting. That's basically what it came down to. So yeah, it comes out every Friday. I talk with artists, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. So there's that.
Very nice. Of course, you can check all of our reviews and the podcast out on www.patrickbeattyreviews.com. We just put out a couple new reviews. Dick Johnson is Dead. Honestly, a really heartwarming documentary and funny, surprisingly funny.
I want to see that one. Yeah,
And
that's
it's
high on my
excellent.
list.
Mm-hmm. As well, we just finished, why did I forget this already? How did I forget this? The Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson. The Devil
All the Time.
Devil All the Time is now on the review channel all the time. So I want to thank everybody again for joining, and we will see you at the next review. Let's keep at it.
Kind of want to rap.
I'm getting out of here. Go!